You've got it tuned to listener-powered radio at 90.3 FM in Seattle. You can find us online around the world at KEXP.org. And we're super excited to have the new Pornographers live in studio today. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
It's always nice to have you here. And you all look bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Do we?
Especially for 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes, maybe bushy-tailed.
What have you got for us?
We're going to do Brill Bruisers.
Okay. The new Pornographers live on KEXP, the title track from the new album Brill Bruisers. Love it. How about another one?
All right. It's called Dancehall Domine.
Repeated, recited, whenever you feel gentle, whenever you're benighted. Some will have to brave the line, but they're letting you right in. They love you with the lights on, turn them on, don't bother
Nicely done. It's the new Pornographers live on KEXP. That sounded amazing. Thank you all so much for coming in today. It is always so great to see you, and it's always time for celebration when you have a new album out. And I have to say, this sounds like a very celebratory record. You've got to be really proud of it.
Yeah, I really like it. I think everybody likes it. I'm trying not to pay too much attention to what people say about it, but it's cool. It's cool to play the songs at the shows so far and just see people know them already. It's a nice feeling. They've
got a real energy to them, and as always, super fun to sing along to. It's hard to stand still. Obviously, an artist who's creative doesn't want to do the same thing every time, and you really haven't done that in your career. And it sounds like you mine some new territory on here. What was your direction for this album, or did you just kind of start and see where it took you?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like we had the vaguest idea we wanted to use arpeggiators. There was just a sense of like, let's make it sort of spacey, and but there was also a sort of a get back approach. Like that song we just played, I think sounds so much like an old song by us. And I felt like after a few albums where we'd veered off and just done other things, I thought we can go back and do this without feeling like we were repeating ourselves.
That's fun.
And so take a song that feels like a throwback to our earlier style, but then add like this sort of electronic pulse to it that we didn't have in the past. Just trying to, figure out how to be old and new at the same time.
Well, you've never eschewed technology. You like to use modern sounds, and obviously you've got a lot of instrumentation going on here. But what did you do in the studio that was kind of different and modern?
I don't know. We used a lot of apps.
Oh.
Phone apps and iPad apps. And
I feel like I hear little tiny snippets of things like snuck in there, like maybe even snippets of conversation. It sounds like you got a little...
There are. Well, I think that's always I feel like a lot of classic records, like the Pixies or the Who, have these weird little interstitial bits where somebody just randomly talking, so it's fun to put that stuff in there. It feels like a nod to all your favorite records.
And also, when you listen to it 15 years later, it probably brings up some fun memories of those weird conversations.
Yes, definitely.
Well, speaking of 15 years later, after 6 albums, it must be fun to put a set list together for your shows.
It is. Well, in Vancouver and here in Seattle, we're doing 2 nights. So, yeah, it's fun to have like 30-something songs that you can play. And, we played a few songs that we haven't played in 10 years. It's fun to reach back, and we're getting to the point where we don't even have to play many deep cuts. We can just stick to the hits, or what we call the hits.
They're all hits.
Yes.
Some songs just probably scream out at you to be played.
Yeah, some songs are kind of hard not to play. Like last night we didn't do our song "Use It," which is one of our most popular songs, but we just had too many songs.
Yeah.
We're doing it tonight instead.
I guess there's a time limit involved.
Yes.
You mentioned the shows in Vancouver and Seattle somewhat, since we consider that local. They're kind of homecoming shows. I know 15 years in, not everyone still lives in Vancouver, but does it still feel like a homecoming when you're there?
It really does. And, well, you get to see all your family and your old friends, but the other side of it is you look out at the audience, especially in Vancouver, and I think, like, this is another generation of people. Like, it's not like our friends who were there, 10 years ago are the only people there. And there's this people who are, 20 years old, and you see them in the audience, and you think, well, it's good to see that we're getting new fans in our town.
Well, it's nice to know that your music is timeless in that way.
Yeah, I guess it's the children of our first fans. They're showing up now.
I wasn't going to say it. Speaking of timelessness to your music, you named the album Brill Bruisers, and I heard that the original name was Brilliant Bruisers, but I know that you are a fan of sort of the Brill building style of music, which goes back as far as the 40s. Mm-hmm. And so there's definitely a timelessness to those hits.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that element?
I don't know. I guess I like the idea of the songwriter. Like, for me personally, I think I always wanted to be a songwriter more than a rock star or anything. So, and people who I've admired, they're songwriters, and the rock stars that I love are the ones that were amazing songwriters. So, yeah, it makes sense to throw in a little nod to songwriting in a rock album.
You've got a few amazing songwriters in this room, and I'm interested to know how the album came together. It's been a few years since the last album, and I'm not assuming you toiled away every second of those years.
No.
You have lives and families, but I heard you and John worked quite a bit together on that, and you don't live in the same city.
Yeah, well, luckily my place in Woodstock came with a little cottage, so John lived there. Sort of kept him captive. What's that movie? What's that Kathy Bates movie where she hobbles she hobbles James Caan? Yeah,
Misery.
It was sort of like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Like
And how long was that period of time where you hobbled John?
It was he got to go home, so it was not quite like Misery, but what was it, about 6? There was about 6 or 7 months, but there was a lot of off time. Like he would come over for 2 weeks, and then he'd go home, and then we were also working on this soundtrack for this movie called The F Word, this Daniel Radcliffe movie. So, I mean, this record technically took like a year from beginning to end, but we didn't spend a year on it. Maybe 4 or 5 months? Who knows? I don't know.
And obviously, with so many people in the band, with so many other things going on, you had to bring people in. Did that happen at a condensed period of time where the other members of the band came in, or was that also over several months?
Yeah, it was over several months. People just came one at a time. Fancy came and visited for a while, and and there's Catherine and Dan. But also, when we were mixing in Vancouver, there was still recording going on, like Catherine did her vocals on Drug Deal of the Heart. Like that was one of the last things we recorded on the record, I think.
That makes me want to ask, do the songs evolve when you're in the studio, or do they kind of come in finished and ready to record?
Oh, yeah, they full on evolve. Like, the song Backstairs was basically just written in the studio. Because sometimes when you're working on a record, you get inspired. Just because when you think it's sounding cool, it just makes you want to write more songs. And 2 songs, Backstairs and You Tell Me Where, I started writing them midway through making the album. Just thought, these 2 songs will fit. These are going to be good songs for this album.
Well, I love it. Brill Bruisers, it's as fun to say as it is to listen to.
You got to have alliteration.
I know.
Brill Bruisers, Dancehall Domine, Fantasy Fools,
Oh,
Drug Deal of the Heart.
I see what you're doing there.
Mm-hmm.
I have to ask this question since you're in Seattle, the city of coffee, but another fun thing to say is Brill Brew. And I heard you got to Intelligentsia Coffee, got in touch with you, and you have a brew for this album. Did they just name it after you, or did you actually get to help develop it?
What, develop the
Yeah.
develop the bean? No, we didn't help develop the
So they just had a fine coffee. And
I worked with geneticists to to develop this bean. No, they just presented a few different beans from this farm in Kenya, and I tasted them.
All right, so
I went, I guess I like that one the best.
Okay, look, that's what you had a say in it.
Yeah, definitely.
I wasn't thinking you were growing it up in Woodstock or anything.
I felt very embarrassed by the whole thing because a writer from Epicurious was there, and I felt like I'm in over my head. Like I don't have anything to say about coffee, guys. I'm sorry. Like I cannot talk intelligently about coffee. But they were very cool about it.
I love it.
We actually have one of our merch items. We have tote bags that are the Brill Brew tote bags. It has the album cover on one side, and then on the back it says Brill Brew Intelligentsia.
All right, so lots of brew and merch that you can pick up. You play the Showbox again tonight.
Yes.
Here in Seattle, so another opportunity to see the band. Well, how about more music?
All right.
The new Pornographers live in studio here at KEXP and streaming live online, by the way, at KEXP.org and video.
Okay.
Fortune seekers, backyard dreams that bred their secrets. We were the fortune seekers, spin wheels in the sand. I out of man, the plan to redirect the arc of time. Spread out on the beds play clear, we wanted a rapture. Well, it's been here. The plan to launch a careful strategy, spread out on the bedspread carelessly. Put heights and bounds on your taillights, and it's like they look brand new. Let's begin that the fantasy fool the experts too. What the hell, since we traveled so far from the future here? Let's begin that the fantasy fool the experts. You're gonna need your body. You're gonna need your body. Put heights and bounds on your taillights, and it's like they look brand new. Let's begin that the fantasy fool the experts too. What the hell, since we traveled so far from the future here? Let's begin that the fantasy fool the experts. Let's begin that the fantasy fool the experts. You're gonna need your body. You're gonna need your body. You're gonna need your body. You're gonna need your body.
The new Pornographers live on KEXP, another fantastic track from the new album Brill Bruisers. Before you do the last song, can you do a quick little introduction of the gang after you wet your whistle?
Okay. There's John Collins. See if I can remember the name of everybody in my band. It's gonna be
I know you're kind of new playing together. It's hard to
Yes.
remember everybody.
It's John Collins playing bass, and Blaine Thurrier playing keyboards, Todd Fancy playing guitar, Joe Seiders playing drums, and Catherine Calder playing keyboards, and Dan Behar over there singing. And me, I'm Carl.
You look great, you sound great, and it's always a pleasure to have you here. And if you got time for one more, we'd love it.
So you wanted to go towards the street light, but the city at night was not for you. Your mind saw sparks, mine saw stars. We played games, we played guitars. I don't know where you are, but I'm coming. Spider, spider, spider. Your mind saw sparks, mine saw stars. We played games, we played guitars. I don't know, I don't know. Spider, they want you, they want you, they want you. They want you, they want you, they want you. They want you, they want you, they want you. They want you, they want you, they want you.
Crazy. I love it. The new Pornographers live on KEXP. Thank you all so much. It's always a pleasure to have all of you
Thanks for
here.
having us.
Playing tonight at the Showbox, and hopefully come back soon. You've got to tune to KEXP Seattle. Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.